every revolution, there's one man with a vision.
Hey everybody, Steve here. Let me tell you guys a story. This absolutely works within the context of this video, so just stick with me. Back in the 1990s, I was driving home from work and going down the road, and a older gentleman comes out from a side road, runs a stop sign, T-bones me, spins me around, sends me across the other lane of traffic and into a ditch. He comes jumping out of the car and, in very colorful language, lets me know that the accident is all my fault and he's calling the cops. At this time, several other cars, 2 or 3 cars, maybe 4, pulled over to the side of the road, came over to check on me, and they all let me know they saw the accident. And this guy ran a stop sign, didn't even stop, and caused the accident. The policeman showed up, took the older man's statement, took all the witnesses' statement, and then came to me. And I was a youngin' at this point. I was in my early 20s. I was, freaked out. My first big accident, so to speak. And I was about to say something to him, and he just kind of put his hand up and he said, "Don't worry, you're not in trouble. Everybody I talked to, other than the guy that hit you, said the accident's his fault. We can tell from the evidence, just looking around and from all their statements, you are not at fault. You weren't doing anything wrong." As a matter of fact, the older guy was going to sue me, and when I went to the courthouse because I got a summons, I got there and they said, "No, don't worry, you can go home." The man's lawyer said, "Don't sue because you will lose big time." Why did I tell this story? Fault. This guy blamed me for something I didn't do. He caused a mess and wanted to make sure I took the blame for it. This is the same entitled mindset that Disney, Paramount, the BBC, just to name 3, this is the mindset they're taking when they push garbage content, they call them TV shows, onto the public. It's your fault that things aren't working. It's your fault you don't like lesbian space witches. It's your fault you don't like a doctor that just prances around all over the place and acts like a complete moron. It's your fault. You are a toxic istophobe. When in the history of anywhere has blaming somebody helped your cause? You don't put out a show like The Acolyte, fill it with garbage, and then every time the majority of the fans say, "Hey, we don't like this," they come around, the Disney Plus people come around and say, "It must be the fans' fault." And then you have the shill entertainment companies, your varieties and your other publications carrying water for them and saying, "Yes, it's got to be the fans' fault. Why is Rotten Tomatoes score so low? It's got to be the fans' fault. They're review bombing it because they've never watched the show. They just hate it." Yes, it's your fault. Remember Captain Marvel and the Marvels? It's your fault. They didn't do well. You don't like strong women. You must be an incel. Star Trek Discovery. You're a racist homophobe because you don't like this show. No, the show's just garbage. Alex Kurtzman couldn't write his way out of a wet paper bag. He's the worst person in the world to put in charge of this show. The fact that he says he's using Star Trek as a platform for his political views says everything you need to know about what's going on in the world today. Way back in 2016, when the female Ghostbusters reboot tanked, Paul Feig, the director, and the so-called actresses, whatever you want to call them, they blamed the fans for their garbage performance. I can't think of any other word but garbage for all this stuff. I mean, it's something nobody wants to watch. They put out a Charlie's Angels reboot not that long ago, within the last 5 or 6 years. And the director said, this isn't a female empowerment movie. Men shouldn't be coming to watch it. And then when the movie tanked, she went back onto the internet and said, why didn't men show up? What happened? Well, you told us not to show up. Same thing with the latest Terminator movie. You said men are going to hate it because big, strong, powerful women. And then, all right, well, we just won't show up. That's what's going on now. You have the Acolyte blaming the fans. The fans aren't showing up. And now the fans are toxic because they're not showing up. If you don't know, I write books. I have 3 books out. And I know my books are not written for everybody. I write in a very small niche, superhero, action fiction books. My sister-in-law, great woman, she gave me a review for my first book. She gave me a 2 out of 5. And in her review, she said that while she enjoyed the book, it was a fine book. It's just not her style of book. She generally would not read this, but because I'm family, she read it and she gave an honest opinion. Did it hurt? Yeah. Did I turn around and attack her and tell her she's the one at fault? It's she can't figure out what I'm writing, and because of that, it's her fault, not mine. No, I would never attack somebody for giving me a honest bad review. If you give me an honest bad review, you know what? It is what it is. I can't stop people from not liking my stuff. Legitimately not liking my stuff. Now, if you're just a hater and you've never read my book and you want to give it a bad review, then we got some issues. Just like Star Trek, and Star Wars, and Doctor Who, and anything coming out from Marvel right now. There are people reading and watching these things and giving a legitimate bad review. And they're lining all this stuff up. Why it's not good. I watched the show. Here's what I didn't like this. I didn't like this. I didn't like this. And then you got the shill media coming behind them and go, well, you didn't like this, this, and this because you're a hater. And you're toxic. And we don't like you. So, thanks for playing. You're not going to build your fan base by blaming fans. You're not going to increase people coming to see your shows if you keep blaming them for bad reviews. They are legitimate bad reviews, and if you can't take it, then you need to stop and leave the industry and find something else to do where you won't get talked about. Yeah, it's an insane narcissistic mindset that these people have, that they can put out these shows and talk down to the fans when the fans don't like it. And there's a lot of fans. I guess there's a lot of fans who will back them because it's out there. They're actually on X, formerly Twitter, and Reddit and other things where they are backing these creators. Creators, I call them that. They're not really creators, they're destroyers. They've taken valuable IPs. Star Trek, Star Wars, Doctor Who, Marvel were all fantastically awesome money-making machines. All you had to do was wind it up and let it go. And then it fell into the hands of far left morons who worship the DEI gods and all their DEI money. And they've twisted everything in a terrible image. They've destroyed Star Wars and Star Trek. They're destroyers, not creators. And there are people who actually like this stuff. Now, I've made some videos where I've angered some people. These are potential readers for my books. I've even had one guy say, I'm not going to read anything you ever write because you said something bad about something. All right, well, I'm sorry. I gave my opinion. I gave my opinion. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. It's a shame that you're not going to get a chance to read my book, but hey, I move on. I didn't blame him and go, no, you're the wrong person. You're the wrong thinker. I said, okay. I moved on. Something Leslie Headland cannot do. Something Russell T. Davies cannot do. Something Ncuti Gatwa, the new doctor, cannot do. Something Amanda, what's her face, from The Acolyte, making a diss video. She can't do it. She's got to just, dig at the haters. She's got to dig at all the people saying they don't like the show. They just can't let it go. They just can't step back and go, you know what? I made something, and now I'm just going to let it go. And whatever happens, happens. Just like writing a book. I can't defend the book. The book is out there. I have three books that are out there in the world. And you're either going to like it or you're not. You're either going to like New Doctor Who or you're not. You're going to like The Acolyte or you're not. And you have an opinion. If you want to put out an opinion that you love the show and you think these shows are the bestest ever, these shows are even better than George's Star Wars or classic Doctor Who, or you like Discovery over the original series, that's fine. That's your opinion. You are allowed your opinion. It's when you turn around and you attack the other opinion. I'm not going to attack anybody for liking The Acolyte or Star Trek Discovery or the new Doctor Who. Do I like them? No, I don't. I think those shows are garbage right now. I think they've taken great shows and destroyed them. But if you like them, by all means, watch them. Fill the airwaves or the internet with your praise. Just don't turn around and attack people like me who aren't going to like it, who are going to point out all the flaws, who are going to point out how terrible the writing is, how terrible the production is, how terrible the storylines are, how the plot just destroys any canon that came before it, just because you can. Fan blaming has got to stop. Because if it doesn't, I guarantee you, guys like me, it's not going to be me, but there are going to be guys like me who are going to turn around and start fighting back even harder than this. Is this me fighting back? Kind of. But I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not blaming the fans on the other side for all this. If there is blame to put, it's on the people creating these shows. It's on the corporations like Disney and Paramount and the BBC for allowing these shows to come out, for hiring the people they hire to create these shows. It's the shill media for backing these shows, for carrying the water for them. so they can have their access. Those are the people I blame, not the fans. But if you feel offended because of what I'm saying, you really got to take a real strong look in the mirror who you are. Why are you being offended by what I say? It's not your show. You didn't create it. You didn't write it. You had no input into it whatsoever. But you're going to turn around and you're going to call me a toxic istophobe because I don't like this. Well, so be it. I will wear that toxic istophobe badge with pride. What do you guys think? Are you watching these shows? Do you love them? Do you hate them? I'd love to know. I really would. If you do love these shows, why? Legitimately, why? I don't want to start an argument. I don't want to cause any more hate. Just trying to get into the mind of somebody who sees a DEI-filled show, a show that really has no soul, but somehow, somewhere, something in it attracts you. The guys who don't like it, trust me. You can put it down in the comments why you don't like it. I know. I agree. I will give you thumbs up in the comments. But let's talk about this for real, because I can't see this. This can't last. These shows that just keep filling the internet with garbage content, just so Disney and Paramount and all these can have something to fill their streaming services, so they can keep your eyeballs on them for money, the almighty dollar. I even months ago, almost a year ago, I put out a video saying that The Acolyte was going to be the worst show ever. It was going to destroy Star Wars. I will put a little thing up here and at the end of the video, so you can go check that out. See my words of wisdom, how I looked into the future and already predicted this. So, thanks you guys for watching. That's all I got.